Hi, and welcome back to my film and TV channel. You're all staying safe and well. I'm going over to Netflix today. Yeah, for an interesting film. I was quite chuffed. I wasn't aware this was coming out. Then Friday mornings here in the UK, that's when I usually get some of the newer, bigger Netflix stuff. And it suddenly appeared. I thought, oh, that's good. I'll have a watch of that. So within a couple of hours, well, within 2 hours, 46 minutes, that's how long it took to watch. I'll have a watch of it. So we'll talk about a new Netflix film today, as at the 28th of September 2022. I'm going to talk Blonde. Yes, please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications. It'd be great to have you on board. Tell your friends. I do film reviews, TV drama reviews, information blogs, lots of different things. It'd be great to have you on board watching. And please, if you can make any comment about this film or anything else, please do so. And also, be nice. Just give us a thumbs up. It only takes a second to press that button. Just press that little button. Give us a thumbs up. That'd be more important. It's nice to get views. It's nice to get thumbs up. So make an old TV and film watcher very happy. Yes, Blonde, an 18 certificate. If you don't know what this is about, what do you think? Blonde. What images of a blonde in a film sort of bring to mind? I'm sure you'll guess. 2 hours 46 minutes. A biographical film. There, another clue. Written and directed by Andrew Dominic, based on the 2000 novel of the same name by Joyce Carol Oates. So if you know who that's about, you're sorted. The film, of course, is a fictionalised take on the life and career of American actress Marilyn Monroe, played by Ana de Armas. Very well played by Ana de Armas as well. Exceptional. And as at the 28th of September, when I'm recording this at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, all these comments and scores are at that time. Rotten Tomatoes audience, what do they think? So that's Joe Public, you and me. 2.7 out of 5. So not great. 5.4 out of 10. Just a 49% positivity. So a little bit surprising having now watched it. But yeah, quite low. Internet Movie Database. So they're a bit kinder. They like it a little bit more. They've come out, if you look at this sort of breakdown of the scores on Internet Movie Database, got 430 people scored between 6 and 9, and 193 scored between 2 and 5. So overall, about 69-70% positivity rate. So we'll take that. We'll take that Internet Movie Database. That's pretty good. The cast also includes Adrian Brody, Bobby Cannavale, Xavier Samuel, and Julian Nicholson. And what's it about? Well, it's about Marilyn, but let's a bit more depth about after a traumatic childhood. You get to see a little Marilyn played quite well by I don't know the actress's name or the actor's name. They're all actors now, aren't they? But yeah, played quite well. After a traumatic childhood, Norma Jean Mortensen becomes an actress in the Hollywood of the 50s and the early 60s. She becomes world famous under the stage name Marilyn Monroe. But her on-screen appearances are in stark contrast to the love issues, exploitation, abuse of power, and drug addiction she faces in her private life. So you get all that, guys. A little bit more on that, because this is the first ever release via the streaming services that has been given an NC-17 rating, which you know what that is in America. Obviously, it's an adult 18 certificate, I think, here in the UK, but the very first release from a streaming service to get that. So there you go, quite unusual. And the streaming release was on the 28th of September on Netflix, and there was a short theatrical run in the US. I'm not too sure if there's any sort of run in the UK. And the critics, yes, the critics themselves, not the public. Rotten Tomatoes, yeah, not overly infused. 51% positivity. Okay, just over halfway. Based on 155 reviews, an average rating of just under that watchable score of 6, just 5.9 out of 10. And so you end up with 80 fresh and 75 rotten. Consensus reads, Blonde can be hard to watch as it teeters between commenting on exploitation and contributing to it, but Ana de Armas' luminous performance makes it difficult to look away. So she does carry this superbly, I must admit. Not an easy role to play by any means, certainly in this script as well. On Metacritic, the other site we look at, it's got an average, again, very similar to Rotten Tomatoes, 51 out of 100. That's based on 48 critics. And it goes anywhere between 40 out of 100, and 90 out of 100. Let's have some of the critics. Mark Kermode, we know Mark Kermode, don't we? He's over here writing for The Observer, this criticism. At its heart, this is a fever dream of childhood trauma haunting adult life, replete with skin-crawlingly cruel visions of inquisitorial torture, brutal ordeals, and hellish infernos. More Nightmare on Elm Street than My Week with Marilyn. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It's very edgy. It is a bit edgy. It does go off on one at times, but it's very edgy. Jordan Hoffman from the TV Guide here in the UK said, yes, it's about a woman who, at least in Oates Dominic's version, and let's not forget, this is just someone's version of it, this is their ideal of it, is consigned to a miserable existence from the moment she is born. But the point of this nasty movie seems to be ensure the audience suffers along with her. Again, I'm not going to argue with Jordan on that. It does get to you. It's not a feel-good movie, guys, that's for sure. I'll comment on that in a moment. Emily Zemler from The Observer says there seems to be very little purpose underneath the precise recreations of Monroe and her life. Yeah, I mean, I can understand it's a good point. I mean, if you've read and watched a lot of Marilyn stuff, it's just stuff you know. Basically, there's nothing surprisingly new in this. Is there anything surprisingly new that someone, unless people obviously come up with their own versions and totally lie and go against the grain? It is what it is, as we say. Danny Lee from the Financial Times said, splashy, oppressive portrait of Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, and as I said before, it's certainly not a feel-good movie. Screen Daily's Fionnuala Halligan, my apologies, Fionn. I'll call you Fionn. 40 out of 100. She didn't like it. She said it's technically skilled, it is, well acted, and fatally overlong. Yeah, it's long, but it's a long story, isn't it? It's hard not to see it blonde as a chronicle of exploitation, she said, and abuse which merrily carries on the tradition. A sensation reinforced by Anna de Amar's poignant performances as Marilyn. Yeah, well, she did a good job. Not so sure why she gave it 40 out of 100 based on that critique. The Hollywood Reporter's David Rooney gave it 60. He said, the tragic dimension of a woman adored by the world, devoured by Hollywood, and ultimately abandoned to her own despair in an ordinary little house in Brentwood resonates because we know Marilyn's sad story. But it's hard to ignore the queasy feeling that Dominic is getting off on the tawdry spectacle. Diana holds nothing back in connecting with the character's pain. She deserves better. Okay, yeah, all right, interesting. The playlist, Jack King, 75 out of 100. He said, this is a nasty, queasy, unforgiving piece of work, utterly devoid of hope. It's as shocking as any slasher, as horrifying as any grisly bit of wartime realism. Yet there's something so compelling about the director's broader argument, and it's rendered with rare visual deftness, with some big swing moments that land terrifically. Yeah, so obviously Jack, if you think, is sort of taking a different stance perhaps to David Rooney at the Hollywood Reporter there. But both to some extent are correct in the words. My little score, I'm going to give you my score before I sum up on this one. It was definitely watchable. I'm not saying it was watchable in a great way. It was very powerful. As I say, it didn't teach us a lot, anything that we can't make our minds up out ourselves. Have you read true stories, biographies, etc., etc.? But it certainly, as a production for a streaming service, Netflix, it is watchable. As simple as that. So I am going to give it a 6 out of 10. My basic watchable score. I think it deserves that, just for the lead actor, of course. In this, if I was to give it any less, I think I'd be a little bit unfair. It's another take on Norma Jean, of course, that mixes it up. Yes, we've seen a lot of this. And if you're being cruel, adds little, if anything, to what we know. I mean, the link to a parent or father gives another little, like a little voiceover of a father's letters to her throughout this, which is another angle I've not particularly seen or heard about. As I said, the book I'm not familiar with. And of course, President Kennedy scene will not sort of add anything to his reputation. You'll know what I mean if you watch that. It's literally a 6-7 minute scene, but it won't help his reputation in his life, that's for sure. Arness is excellent as in the Norma Marilyn role. I like this. I found the first third of the movie a little bit hard going. That's probably why it's only a 6. It might have got a little bit more. But overall, it's not bad. It's not bad for what it is. And it is what it is. As I say, it's Marilyn fans probably won't get too much out of it. But as far as, just a really sad movie, basically, about Marilyn Monroe. And it's probably got a right to be sad, hasn't it, in that context. Let me know what you think, guys. Anyway, you're watching this. Let me know what you think. It'd be great to hear from you. Anyway, until we meet again, please, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.